Yeah, thank you for coming in. Hope you're all well. And if you're having relationship struggles that you can't seem to put your finger on, there's a lot of people out there that don't really care about fixing things or getting things right, but that's the masses. That's how the masses work now, and that's okay. There's plenty of broomsticks and skeletons in the closet, sweeping stuff under the carpet. It doesn't work in the long run for the awakened. But if people want to stay in the dark, that's prerogative. That's their will. They can do that. And it's not our business to try and get involved. We left our last talk in the realm of those who love pleasure become poor. Those who love wine and luxury will never be rich. These are overspenders. They're not focused on what they're supposed to be doing with their money, and they spend a lot of it on things that don't really matter. The wicked are punished in place of the godly was the next one. That was pretty confronting. And traitors in place of the honest. See, there's a lot of traitors running around in relationships now. That's narcissistic. Could be covert, could be overt, but one thing's for sure, it's not healthy. And when you're in a relationship with a traitor, there's nothing worse, really. There's nothing worse. There's situations where I've been put into situations where I've been completely demasculinized for months and months, and then all of a sudden some ridiculous solution to the problem comes up. These people are completely unaware of where you're at. And then when you don't go along with it, they think you're a traitor and it's your problem. And you just have to say, look, I'm sorry, but you need to go. It's just so far away from, say it, common sense. It really does put you in a headspace where you give in. You just finally give in. You just cannot take any more of the trouble that's coming towards you. Am I speaking to somebody here? I'm sure I am. This happens to all of us. Just trying to use the scriptures to bring sense to the good and the bad in all of us as well. But here we go again. We ran into this in Proverbs 20, and the Bible's, these people knew of the covert female narcissists. They knew it. They start covert, you don't know it's in there, and then it goes overt, and this is what you end up with. This is the covert female narcissist gone overt. It's better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome, complaining wife. Now, that's overt, isn't it? But what about the ones that aren't complaining or quarreling, but inside they're a ticking time bomb waiting to go off? They're just as bad and maybe even worse because you don't see it coming. You know something's wrong and not right, it's all going on, but you just don't see it coming. These ones, you see what's going on and you head for the desert or the corner of the rooftop and you leave them to their complaining. They're going to be complaining to not just you but somebody else as well. And this is where triangulation starts, and you'd be surprised what the person that you're with will say about you behind your back. Because people that don't resolve, and this is about unresolved, this isn't about resolving anything, this is quarreling. Quarreling's got to do with unresolved. It's making things worse, complaining. These people will be, if you could be a fly on the wall, you wouldn't have this person as a wife. They're destructive, they're demonic, they're demonized, they steal, cheat, lie, they let you down. No, we'll move on from that verse, because right now at this point in life there's women that are making a tremendous mess of things. They're completely blind of what they're doing, and the consequences that it's having on people that are trying to do good is just unbearable. It's just mind-boggling. The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they get. And, I think everybody should have this on their wall, pinned on their wall, because it's true. when you've gotten to my age and you look back and you've got nothing to show for what you've done, you have to be confronted with yourself. You have to stop and say, well, what happened? What decisions did I make? Where did my money go? It's no good trying to make a champion of yourself and saying, well, I spent it all on my children and this. No. Something's gone wrong somewhere, and you have to be confronted with what that was. I know people that say money's not important. There's so much stuff about money in the Bible. It's important, whether you think it's important or not. And here we see the classic case of people looking back over their shoulders, realizing that they wasted their money on whatever they could get. Drugs, alcohol. A lot of people lose tremendous amounts of money on rent and other foolish things. So this is something we're all confronted with. It's something that we need to stop and think about so that we can change the possibilities for our life. Whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love will find life, righteousness and honor. And guess what unfailing love is? People that are willing to resolve. Again, I tell you, everything comes back to resolve. Righteousness, right? Trying to make things right, pursuing that. Not in a militant way, but in a free-flowing spirit way. And protecting your love. Guess what you find? Life. But look, the opposite. The person who strays from common sense will end up in the company of the dead. See, there's people that are living, and there's people that are not living. They're just living a life. They may as well be dead. I know that sounds terrible, but Jesus said, let the dead bury their own dead, so take that up with him. They're not progressive. They're not producing things that would display a life that is prospering. They're latent. Their finances are latent, if not indebted. Their soul and spiritual realms of their life are indebted. They're just not coming into a righteousness that can produce honor for themselves. And this is true because I've had women say to me, I'm not worthy. Several. I'm not worthy. And you say to them, you are worthy. You're as worthy as anybody else. But inside, they just have not got the honor towards themselves. And this is what pulls down their love, makes their love fail. It changes their life to sort of a deaf state. They don't pursue what's right. They just spend themselves on whatever they can get. It's not necessarily a financial scripture, but they just spend themselves on whoever comes along and whatever they can get until that person goes away and they find somebody else. This is the narcissist. They spend themselves on whatever they can get, and everything seems to fail. Everything seems to fail around them because they're not pursuing what is right. They're just not pursuing what is right, and this is undoing them. They're living in elements of their life that are just absolutely wrong, and they know it. So they spend themselves on whatever they can get, and they live feeling unworthy and feeling bad, wrong. They feel wrong and unworthy. And it doesn't have to be that way. If you turn things around and start to pursue what's right for you, not everybody else, for you, right? And this is why a lot of the black sheep in families and scapegoats finally disappear. They finally go, no, this ain't, the way that you've raised us and the way that you live isn't working for us. I'm not in agreement with the way that you live. And they go on to become wiser and better, and they break the generational curse. And this happens. They become estranged from these people that have a mindset of, I'm not worthy and I'm not right. I'm just not going to live right. I'm going to fail. I want to fail. I want to fail again and again and again and again. I'm going to pursue the middle ground. Well, when you pursue the middle ground, guess what? You're making yourself more vulnerable to failure. And that's when your life becomes difficult, becomes dead. You become into a state of, I don't feel worthy, and you feel bad. So when you come around people that are trying to be right and bring justice and joy, right, you stray from common sense. It's all too much. See that there? That's a narcissistic breakdown, collapse. Right there is a narcissistic psychological breakdown and collapse, incrementally displayed. They go from common sense right down to the full narcissistic collapse. They can't cope with anything that's got justice or joy against what they think is right. If it's against their fantasy and delusion, guess what? They're going down the tubes. They're going down the tubes. They're going to have a psychological, spiritual, maybe even physical. Some people have heart attacks and die. They're so confronted with themselves. Really. And again, we see how the scripture's just turning these people into a situation where we all need to look in the mirror and become what we're supposed to be, instead of undermining ourselves and everyone else around us. Fools spend their money and themselves, right, everything about themselves, on whatever they can get. But whoever pursues what's right and wants unfailing love and will do what it takes to have that will find life. They'll find and have the rewards. They'll have righteousness and honor, and people will see the power of this shining on their lives. And this will definitely make people know. See, people want people like you. They want the light, the life, the righteousness, the honor, but they're not prepared to pursue it themselves. Okay, they want the relationship with so-and-so turns me on. Oh yeah, I've got him, I'll build this. But they don't pursue it, and everything fails. It all just seems to fail on them. They end up, because they're coming out of a space of, I'm not worthy and I'm just bad, which is a load of victim mentality to boot. Remember, the covert narcissist comes as a predator and ends up as a victim. That helicopter's... Sorry about that noise, but there's a lot goes on around here. Police, helicopters and all that. See? So they weren't prepared to pursue righteousness. They were just prepared to tolerate whatever they could get that suited them at the time. That's being deceived by your lust. Look, despite their desires, the lazy come to ruin. Your thinking is lazy. You're not pursuing what's right. You're just taking whatever... The scriptures are powerful. They're just taking whatever comes along. They're not pursuing. They haven't got any peripheral view. They've just got one view, and they won't change it. It's called stubbornness. And of course, they just end up foolish and in debt. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you on the next one real soon. Bye for now.